at the Log Still. Nice concert venue. They're building a new tasting room over there, so they'll have more space. This water tower is very important to the family. Massive water tower. The county almost made them take it down at a point in time, but it was refurbished, so all is good. Love when you're somewhere and one of the most prominent features is the American flag. I love that. This is a very nice distillery. Nice tours and tastings. Don't know if we're gonna pick it up with the sun. I may have to go to the other side here, but I wanted to show you this still. I'm not going to show you the still. So there's the tower. And you come here, and this is the still. And that's the visitor center. And we'll be back here tomorrow night for a concert. Should be a pretty amazing concert.
We can do that again just for that,
yes,
if that sounds okay to you guys. Okay, so the campus map was taken back around 1960. So where we're sitting at right now is where the old cistern house used to be, where they would fill the barrels up. So if you look on the map, you see the water tower, which is right here. And then you've got our train tracks, and here's our lake, and the Quonset huts that was on the property, which are pictures are over there on the wall. The pieces from those old huts are actually in here in the taste room, right above your head. So we incorporated a piece of history in here. And the two frames out there, another piece of history, is the old dryer house and the old steel and power house. So I think that right there gives our property more character because we left a piece of history up for everybody to see where we're at today versus where we was. So I think that's really cool. Let's see. All right. So your first one, if you flip your card over, you're going to see where you can take your notes on the product. So your first one is going to be our Monk's Road Dry Gin. But our name Monk's Road, when Wally would come home to see his grandparents, soon as he seen that Monk's Road, he knew he was home. So I know when I go to my grandparents, we'd go up Parksville Knob and I'd see the old grocery store and I'd be like, we're almost there. We're almost home. So that's where we get that name Monk's Road from. So I think it's beautiful meaning behind of it. So because his grandparents did live right over here. And then Charles Dant also lived on the property in the other home. So that water tower meant a lot to him too. It was built back in the 30s. The county actually wanted to take it down, but they did not let that happen. So instead they sandblasted it, put a fresh coat of paint on it. It's all lit up for concerts, and it does hold water. It's just for emergencies, so God willing, we never have to actually use it. But I'm sure those boys climbed up the water tower and did God knows what up there. Yeah. Yep. I've climbed one in my entire life, and it wasn't that steep. But yeah, so that's where we get the name Monk's Road from. And on these two bottles, the symbols up here, that actually means God alone. That's what those symbols mean. Okay. Yep. And then on this one, this actually means peace. Is it Italian? Is it Italian? What is it? Latin. Okay. I didn't take no foreign language in school. I don't know how I got away from it. So our first one, the Monk's Road, the dry gin. So the way you can do it, you can give yourself like a tasting glass mustache. Just like this. Open up your mouth and put your tongue to the roof and just take a light inhale. And then your first sip's going to be light too. Because at first it's going to be really overwhelming and too powerful. So just do it slow, come back, do it again. And then when you're ready, you can take a sip. Some people like to hold some water in their mouth as they do it. And then just see what kind of botanicals you're going to get off of this dry gin. Because with gin, free range, do whatever you want to it. As long as it has a certain percentage of juniper berries in it, you can add whatever you'd like. So I'm not going to tell you guys what's in it. I want to wait to see what you guys come up with. Because there's no wrong answer. So whatever you're getting off of it, just let me know.
I don't want
to. Okay. So the next one on your tasting board is going to be the Monk's Road. Small batch. But this is... So the wheat is the dominant, but it follows the rules of bourbon. So the rules of bourbon, one of them has to be 51% corn. It has to be American made. A lot of people think bourbon has to be in Kentucky. 95% is, but as long as it's in the U.S., doesn't matter. Your bourbon also has to be poured into a new white oak charred barrel or container. So that's another rule. The distillation has to be correct. And then you have to have at least 51% corn. This one does meet that. So it is still a bourbon. But let me see. What is the other one? Oh, if you add anything, throws it out. You cannot be adding stuff besides your water. So no additives at all. But this one aged at 4 years into the barrel.
any idea on the number char?
What's that?
How long is the barrel charge?
Okay, so some places they do require a certain level of charness. We don't.
Okay.
So honestly, and like with bourbon, what you put in that barrel, you gotta just let it sit, let it wait, let it mature. You are gonna lose some as it sets with angel share. But the longer it sits,
Correct.
the better bourbon you're gonna get. But the charness, it all depends on what kind of barrel that you get.
For Monk's Road, is there a particular char they use or?
There isn't.
Okay.
As long as it is charred.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
toasted is a whole nother thing.
Correct.
Just literally like a marshmallow, take it in, right back out. Don't even let it catch that flame. There is something that we offer that has double. So we have a charring and then we have a toasted. So this is really popular. But what we have is all we have on this one. But it is really popular. So this one did win a People's Choice Award. So blind taste test. So that is a big winner right here. But 94 proof, 47% alcohol. But you get an earthy, nutty mix of pecans and walnuts. But you also get notes of cherries and cinnamon spice. But out of that barrel, you get the peppery vanilla out of that. So, and with the mash bills, you don't want to mess with it because say your generation puts something in that rick house, you want to let it set. You might not even get the chance to try it. It'd be the next generation. So you don't want to mess with stuff. So just keep it the way it is.
Which one is that?
That one is going to be this one right here. That is the wheated. Yep. And let's see. On your next one is going to be... So your next one is going to be the Monk's Road 5th District Series 2. So that's on your board. But I'm going to go and tell them about it too as you drink it. So this one right here... Monk's Road 5th District Series 2 DSP number 47. We're really proud of that number. We like to show it off. So this one actually plays tribute to the historic distilleries that didn't make it during Prohibition. So it plays homage to that. So it's an 8-year-old high rye bourbon. But what we did is we first put it in a charred barrel for 6 years. Then we came back. Put it into a toasted barrel at 2 years. So altogether 8 years. So different elements are going to play a role in this bourbon out of maybe where it's set in the rick house or in Kentucky, you're going to see all 4 seasons in one day. But that's a huge key role in having the patience behind your bourbon. Just let it sit. Don't mess with it. So they let this one sit. But then what they decided, let's put it in another barrel that's just toasted, let it sit a little bit longer, and it's one of the best ones. It's really, really great. So that one is the second one on your board. Let's see. The fourth one on y'all's board. Let's see. This one is going to be your next one too. All right. Rattle and Snap. Have you guys ever heard of that game?
I have not. No.
Okay, so this game, Rattle and Snap, was played back in the 1800s, okay? So it was a game of chance, making your own luck. So if you played with dice, you'd have to tax it. You played with beans, there was ways around it. So we have 2 governors playing this game of Rattle and Snap. one of these governors put his mansion on the line in Columbia, Tennessee, and he lost that mansion. So the new owner then named it the Rattle and Snap Mansion. If that was my husband, he would not even come back home to me. I would not be happy about it at all. So Wally did spend 2 decades down in Tennessee, but he took that gamble of coming back home to get where he's at today. So he also wanted to take another gamble, bringing a Tennessee whiskey to Kentucky, which has been great so far. So we have our 4-year and we also have our 8-year. On your board is your 4-year. But as you can tell, the Tennessee is just a little bit darker than the Kentucky because Tennessee uses a maple and charcoal filtration system. That's their standards that they go by. So that's why it's a little bit darker. But that's going to give it notes of vanilla, nutmeg, and spice. This one's 80 corn, 10 rye, 10 malted barley. So if you think about rye, it could be bold, spicy, hot to you, but to you, it could be herbal, minty. It's whatever you're going to pick up on it as. Okay, so you guys got the 4-year on yours. You have the 4 and you have the 8 on yours. So your next one's going to be Rattle and Snap, 8 years.
Thank you for doing this for us.
Oh my gosh, no. I feel like I got purpose.
Oh,
Finally.
we can talk about this stuff all day long. We're pretty excited.
Good,
why
I'm
we do
glad.
Vacation.
Good, I'm glad y'all enjoy it. Okay, so the next one, let's see. Yours is all messed up. What have you done? Okay,
Yeah, what
so.
have you
That was there, and that was there.
Oh gosh, so you've already tasted
Did
your.
you drink the last one?
Hey, it's okay.
He missed it.
You're
He wasn't-
fine.
He's not a rule follower.
I love it.
I
Okay.
was trying to follow, but I got lost. Once he likes bourbon.
Yes, you do. You do. You love your bourbon.
I do.
So, did they tell you guys about the rick houses while they're black and all that?
Well, I know why, but yes.
Okay. See, a lot of people think it's to hold in that heat. It's not. So, the yeast that's used to make our bourbon that turns it into sugars, then into alcohol, it's a form of fungi. And that fungi is going to seep off onto the warehouse. So, the black does help cover it up. But back during Prohibition, if somebody really wanted to nail somebody bootlegging, they could follow the trees, that fungi, bring you right to whoever is doing what they don't need to be doing. So that was one way of getting caught back then, which I think is it's pretty cool. Yeah. Okay, so this one is our Monk's Road Rye Whiskey. This is new to us. We just got this a couple weeks ago. So did you guys notice up there in the ferment tank, some of the mash built up on top? Did you see any with like black peppery flakes in it? Okay, if you see one with those in there, that's how you know it's a rye, because that is from the rye husk. So you know it's going to be a rye whiskey. But like I said a while ago, spicy, hot, bold, you might pick up herbal, minty. It's all depending on what you're going to pick up. But a lot of people, once they try a rye, they would much rather have this in their old fashioned versus the wheated. The wheated is sweet. And I know in Kentucky, the way things are grown on our farms, we get a lot of that limestone, which really plays a huge role. So our wheat is definitely sweeter. That's for sure. Let me see. Have we already went through all these? Yep, I think we have. So that is all about these. We also do have the new 2024 Barstown collection also. So that's available. And all of the money from those bottles goes straight to scholarships for kids who want to go into the business, whether it be distilling, agriculture, engineering, all of that. So taste tester. Yes.
Can I get a scholarship?
Yep. Yep. So it does take care of the kids for our next generation in the bourbon business. But the way we see it and the way Wally does abide by his bourbon, have your faith in God, take care of your community, hug your friends, love your family, and the bourbon ought to take care of itself. That's the way he sees it.
Amen.
Yep. Amen. Yep.
And for the people at home, can you tell everybody your name?
Oh, I'm Shay Pittman at Still Distillery. So come and see us.